Hi there, welcome to the What's New, What's Next webinar. I'm Michael Von Cleef, and in this quarter's update, we're going to cover a few important topics. Firstly, John DeGardi will provide an update on some important licensing and telemetry changes we're making that you need to be aware of and take action on. Next, we'll have him continue with an update on CVAD 2507 LTSR. He's going to talk about why this is one of the most important releases for you to deploy and how it ups the game in user experience while reducing operational cost and improving your security posture. We're also doing some pretty cool work to integrate some of our newer acquisitions, Uber Agent and Device Trust. And lastly, we'll have Brian Hune cover an exciting upcoming release with NetScaler support for post-quantum cryptography. This is an important topic that many enterprises need to do something about right now. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A within the webinar toolbar. Over to you, John.
Thanks, Michael. My name is John DeGardi, and I'm part of the product marketing team here at Citrix. And today we're going to talk about a few different topics. One is going to be about a lot of the innovation we're doing around the licensing server. We're going to talk about how our always-on telemetry and how we're helping improve our products, improve our support experience. And then we're going to dive into our latest upcoming release, 2507 LTSR for CVAD. So with that, let's get started. Let's talk about licensing. Before we dive in, I just want to throw this up here. We're going to be talking about futures, products, and innovation, and really just kind of let this out there, give everyone a chance. So as everyone knows, over the past few years, Citrix has continued to lead and invest in capabilities designed to secure the work that you have. And we're doing this for all of our customers. And some of that innovation has come through acquisitions, such as Device Trust and Uber Agent. Others have come through new products based on market analysis, research, and conversations that we're having with you guys directly. And the result of this is, our recent enterprise browser work that we're doing with Google and that joint offering we have with Citrix Secure Access with Chrome Enterprise. This is all a result of those conversations we're having with you guys. But some of these product innovations come through our existing product lines. And it comes from what we learn through customer feedback and telemetry. And really, none of this should be surprising, especially the latter, right? As most software companies today, we learn a tremendous amount from the telemetry that we get from how you use our products. And this is especially prevalent in like software as a service-based companies where telemetry is always on by default and the software is constantly evolving and moving based on usage patterns and how you're deploying our software out there today. Another example we have is a lot of our public cloud providers, they collect an immense amount of telemetry data, which enables them to create a cycle of improvements with their existing products and build ones very rapidly. And this is the direction that we're going. Our future innovations at Citrix are going to be fueled by the insights. We're embracing a philosophy that's really common among all the software providers out there today, that a consistent, reliable telemetry across all products provide the data that we're going to need to be able to build better, secure, and usable solutions. And the end result is that even when issues do come up with our software, this telemetry is going to help solve those issues quicker and give us that information and insights to be able to get you guys back up and running as soon as possible. So as simple as it seems, our product licensing is just a great example of where we can start deriving some of these insights and can start to drive some of this positive change. So as far as, for as long as I can remember, managing licenses has been necessary, but often cumbersome part of running your environment. And all this is based on your feedback and the challenges that you guys have managing license files, the pain of manual renewals, and time spent on support calls and working with engineers for some of these issues. From what I've seen, some of these issues, they also can cause potential outages, and these outages can translate into potentially millions of dollars for your business. So how do we move past that? How do we make these a lot easier? And that's going to be our telemetry. So we took a hard look at the data. And over the last 7 months alone, we saw nearly 6,000 issues related to licensing. And the majority of these were really basic issues. things that are frustrating and time consuming problems like errors downloading a license file or not seeing the right components and products after a renewal or a transaction. And this overhead that you guys are experiencing, managing the licensing and all these different transactions, it's just trouble you don't need, right? It's time spent on these simple administrative tasks that could be spent investing in more strategic projects that move your business forward. So the old process of downloading, allocating, and maintaining these license files for every renewal or product, it really hasn't kept pace with the speed and the ever-changing world that you guys are living in, right? Things are moving very fast. And also the entire software industry has shifted. And our goal is to eliminate this friction that we have entirely. And what we found is that we shouldn't just do this for like our CVAD platforms and DAS, but we're really looking to target all of our product lines. So including next month, we're actually adding not only CVAD and DAS, but NetScaler and ZenServer to the mix to get this licensing telemetry. But really, this just isn't an update. It's going to be a fundamental change on how licensing works at Citrix. We're moving towards a pure cloud-based licensing architecture. Again, you just see this model with all your other software vendors out there today. And this shift is designed really to reduce those operational costs we talked about, the potential business risks that we discussed earlier, while providing those insights that we need to be able to create new products, to be able to troubleshoot your issues easier. And this is going to happen all with this additional telemetry. So I'm sure some of you guys that have some questions, but just kind of want to give you guys an update. What does this mean for you? This will be an upgrade. This will require an upgrade to the latest version of license server and your delivery controllers, brokers for CVET and DAS. Just a simple upgrade to the latest version, and you'll be able to get all of this great technology. Now, I'm sure there's other scenarios where you're in a highly secure environment, potentially air gapped. I can't be connected to the cloud. What do we do there? Well, we thought about these, and we are going to provide and support an offline activation model that requires a key from Citrix that it'll enable you to be able to license at your air gap license server. So just so you know, we've thought about all of the use cases that exist out there. We've communicated with you guys, and we are going to support your use case. So whether you're always connected or completely offline, all of these scenarios are going to be detailed in our product documentation on citrix.com. So to kind of show a great example of how this data is influencing our products, an example is our VDA upgrade service. So we've taken the data that we've gotten from the VDA update service, and we're starting to understand all of the common failure points. And we've already started to proactively fix potential compatibility issues out there today that we're seeing within our product that you guys are using. We're also moving to this new telemetry approach is really going to be the first step on unlocking all of these great benefits where we're understanding all the features that you're using and how to improve them in line with your use. But also we're looking to see where challenges potentially come up to be able to improve the product there. With our ultimate goal is to save you guys time, you and your team's time on troubleshooting going back and forth. So this, among many other different examples that we have of our telemetry in action, we're going to be leveraging this data to make better decisions, build better products. We're going to do this in a privacy compliant way. And we're going to have all of this documented on citrix.com and our doc site with all of the data elements that we're collecting, the intervals we're collecting with, will be there for you to review. So it's really important. So take advantage of all these great benefits of the telemetry, the product improvement, and the support. We want you to upgrade to the latest license server for your corresponding product line. And just as telemetry that we talked about provides insights that help us build better products, another upcoming innovation that we have on deck is going to improve troubleshooting and significantly reduce your time to resolution. We're going to call this always on tracing, or AOT. Now, we introduced AOT as it's a lightweight, always on framework, and it's just designed to reduce the data collection time when a particular support issue arises. And what we found in the research is that for many support cases, Weeks can be spent just going back and forth between Citrix and you guys to collect the right data and the right logs. And AOT is going to really decrease this average time to resolution. It does this by providing human and machine readable logs from all of the Citrix components that are on there. And we're going to store this on a central log server within your own environment. An example working with our support team is that sometimes it takes about 46 days on average to resolve a support case. But 6 of these weeks out of those 46 days is time that is just focused on data collection, reproducing the issue, and getting the right logs. So with AOT, we're going to have all of this data on day one when the problem occurs. And our engineering teams, which often can implement a fix in just a few days, should reduce that 46 days down to just a few days. We'll already have that data and we'll be able to save you guys lots of time. So really what we're focusing on is AOT is going to drastically cut down that time window to resolution. It's going to just shortcut or eliminate this data collection time, which is the largest chunk of time that we're seeing in the support process. So right now we're going to start with common support cases like launch failures or resource issues. And all of these will be integrated within Director. So you'll be able to see the information that's in there. Our initial AOT feature is going to be a part of our upcoming CVAD 2507 LTSR, which we'll talk about shortly, with a more comprehensive coverage for all of our other components, products, and features coming up in this November as we continue to roll this out over time. And what we're seeing is what we have currently, we're seeing this huge benefit. We're going to reduce that operational burden that you have if a support issue arises and the time it takes going back with Citrix support and engineering, and we'll be able to significantly speed up issue resolution time there. So really excited to talk about licensing telemetry and our always-on telemetry for all of our Citrix products. We seriously think that this is going to be a great benefit for all of you. It's going to cut down the time you use for managing a license server and all the products and components built within there, but also shortcut a lot of the challenges you might have being able to get the right data and information to fix any support issues that will occur. So we really have spoken kind of a lot about CVAD today, but there are many other changes that are coming in the future Citrix products. So really what we need you to do is upgrade to the latest version of both the license server and the broker, or you can move to the LTSR, or if you're using NetScaler, Zen Server, Uber Agent, Device Trust, or any of the components, upgrade to the latest version to be able to take advantage of all of these telemetry benefits. And as you know, our goal is really to help you with your wider business goals. We want to help you secure the work of your employees and what they do every day and to really allow them to be as productive as possible. And we believe that this is a first step in being able to help you and your teams be as productive as possible. So coming up next, I really want to introduce our latest CVAD release, LTSR 2507, and we're going to kind of we're going to dive deep into that release to talk a little bit about what you can expect coming forward and all of the great features and capabilities that are going to be in there. So I know it just sounds like just another release, but this one is really different. We know you love the stability of our LTSRs, but you want the faster access to all of the new features. You don't want to wait for these to keep coming. So we've heard you loud and clear. And what we're doing is we're moving to an annual LTSR release schedule. And really this shift has been driven by the feedback we're getting from you. You want faster adoption of new features, or there's capabilities that are in our product that can help your business, but you don't want to wait 2 years to be able to get these components within the LTSR. But you like the long-term stability and the support you get with the LTSR. So kind of a conundrum there. So what we're doing is we're going to an annual LTSR release schedule. And this means you're going to have access to all of our latest innovations, performance improvements, and security enhancements. And no more waiting years for that next big feature that you really need. Every year, you're going to get an LTSR. And what we're doing is we're targeting 3 releases per year. It's going to have 1 LTSR somewhere around mid-year, and you'll have 2 CRs that will cover the rest of that. So you'll be able to adopt CRs if you're on that track, or every year you'll be able to get a mid-cycle LTSR. We're also really excited to announce a few of the key integrations that we have for some of our recent acquisitions. Uber Agent is now completely integrated into the CVAD and DAS product line, and it's been touched into the client, the VDA, and director. And you should be able to see now we're collecting that deep insights and telemetry from both the endpoint on the server side, and we're aggregating all that into director to show you endpoint performance, session quality, and application usage. Like imagine this, right? So you have your help desk. We've now using the LTSR with these integrations of Uber Agent. And so a user calls about a slow session. And now you can quickly see exactly what's happening on their endpoint. You could see their entire network connection. You know what specific applications that are running not only on that are virtualized, but on that endpoint device. And there's really no more guessing games or endless troubleshooting steps that you and your support team are doing for this user. You have all of that information and that context right at your fingertips, and it's being collected consistently. Now, if you're on the other side where you're an operations team that are planning expansions, acquisitions, new technology acquisition, what this does is it gives you that real-time visibility into your entire environment. All the way from the client side into your server and data center. It's going to expose all this information, and you'll be able to see exactly where you are from a capacity perspective, where you are from a bottleneck or design perspective, and allow you to proactively spot issues that haven't necessarily occurred yet. Or if there are challenges with the design, you could fix them faster with all of this great information. Ultimately, this integration is looking to be able to speed that support process and provide a great experience for your users, but also allow you to plan for the future with this data. And now with device trust integrated, you can apply all of these great contextual real-time access policies, based on who's logging in, where they are, no matter what device they are, without any conflicts or compatibility issues. And this means you can provide a stronger security and compliance posture for your environment. That you could do that dynamically as we enforce these controls, and you could verify your devices. So these are just two great examples of these integrations and how they're going to help streamline your operations, reduce that complexity of managing multiple tools, multiple installs, consoles, potentially conflicts between policies. You're going to have this one integrated piece across your entire environment. And it's really about getting all of this data that helps you make decisions and turning that data into actions that you can use in order to potentially increase your security or increase your reliability across your entire environment. So this LTSR that we're talking about isn't just a minor refresh. It's a release that is packed with over 400 new features and enhancements. All of this since our last LTSR on 2402. Now that's a lot of value that we're packing into one release. And these aren't just like little small bells and whistles. These are really big key features that you've been asking for, the industry has been demanding, that are focused on making your Citrix deployment really as secure as possible. We're looking at ways to make it more efficient and scalable so we can grow with you. We've also enhanced almost every part of this platform to give you better performance, an overall lower operating costs, and a smoother experience for all your users to keep them as productive as possible. And one really great example here, talking about user performance and productivity, is that users want that smooth, fast, almost local-like experience. And we know that HDX is the leader in this area. And 2507 brings many improvements focused on making users, happier and more productive. And one key improvement that we want to highlight here is that we've seen in our standardized testing a 21% drop in our ICA round trip time. Now, this is just lowering the latency that the users have within their system and increasing the threshold of the different types of network connections they might have where they have great usable performance. So they're going to see faster response times, a smoother, more consistent experience. And this is really going to be helpful in these hybrid environments that we're all dealing with and managing today, where remote workers could be they're at home, they could be in a coffee shop, an airport, or wherever they are, where latency is a variable there. This lower latency threshold is going to mean better user satisfaction, higher productivity, really no matter where they connect. Some other great improvements that we're seeing from a user experience is going to help you be able to provide that user experience is the session performance metric trends in Director. And really what you're doing, what you're going to see here is a clear connection path showing every step of the way for that user, showing that session health, all the way from the endpoint client back to their desktop or application. And we're going to be showing key stats and trends for this information for up to 24 hours. So that means when someone calls with a slow connection or someone is having an issue, you'll have all the tools necessary to be simply easily troubleshoot issues faster, and you can keep your users up and running real smooth with real time. And these real time actionable insights will be able to allow you to be able to troubleshoot these much quicker. So no more, they worked yesterday and now it doesn't work today type of mysteries. You'll be able to look back in time, find the exact issue, understand the root cause of it, and move on with your day. Another great one is HCX Direct. And this is going to allow those clients that have a direct path to their VDA to be able to connect to it directly, removing any additional network hops. It's going to improve the latency. It's going to improve the speed of their session and give their better response of this. Again, great for our hybrid workers where they don't have to go through gateways or extra hops in order to be able to get to the resources that they need. And then finally, one of the other highlights is our enhanced multi-monitor experience. We got to think about use cases where we have users that are potentially in the financial industry or healthcare or wherever they're using multiple applications simultaneously and they have a elaborate multi-monitor setup. Now the users can easily choose where they want their desktops and applications and their entire layout, before launching the session within their app. And we think this is going to be a huge productivity increase so they can design their environment. So this is especially for power users and multitaskers first. And then when they launch, all of their applications are in the right monitor in the same place that they're consistently that they're used to. Some really great improvements here. On the other side is I want to talk about some of the security features that we have in 2507 LTSR. And really what we're looking to do is shifting from our traditional perimeter type defenses to this integrated contextual control, right? And this is all driven by our built-in integrations with tools like Device Trust and Uber Agents, which help empower that, but also enables a more productive and adaptive security posture. And really what we're seeing here is that 15% of this entire release is dedicated to helping increasing your security posture in your environment in various areas, but also really it's just building upon our strategy of looking how we're helping you secure the work that is happening in your environment. And a couple great examples of this in this release is going to one is Secure HDX, and we've replaced, Secure ICA. Now we have true end-to-end AES 256 encryption. And, this means that your data is staying encrypted and protected in traffic across any untrusted network that your users might be coming from. And it's even prevents any type of intermediary devices, even our own NetScaler gateways, from being able to decrypt and look at that data. So we believe like from a data protection in transit perspective, this is a great step forward and highly, if you're a highly secure environment. Other great areas around FIDO2, right? So we've made passwordless authentication even more secure and easier to deploy. Passkeys are becoming more and more prevalent, and support for that in-session applications and the FIDO2 to redirection, especially when we're looking at double hop scenarios, users can now get that seamless access to their applications without having extra steps in the way, and IT gets to maintain that strong security posture along with it. So more productive users, higher security threat, higher security posture. And then finally, one of the other highlights is around session recording. And now we're able to record printing activities and web apps, right? So now you can capture all of the printing activities with full audit trails and even record, Citrix delivered web applications within session recording. We know that this is crucial for your compliance, remediation, and really what we're looking to do is provide those tamper evident records of all of that user activity, not only increasing and strengthening your security posture, but also helping you with all of your compliance activities. Now, everyone here is just being asked to do more with less, right? Especially from an IT perspective. And this is where our operational enhancements in 2507 come in. And the bulk of the enhancements that we're making in this release are really focusing on making your operational burden of supporting your users that much easier, much lighter weight, and give you more opportunity to work on a lot of the strategic products. So some of the highlights that we want to talk about here include infrastructure monitoring of PVS, both storefront and delivery controllers. Infrastructure monitoring is going to give you that real-time visibility, those proactive alerts for all your key on-premises components. So really what this means is all of these various components that you have in your system that are you're using to build your entire environment. You no longer do you need to go to each one separately to understand, okay, is it running? Is the CPU, memory, are there any services that are failing? Are you at any of the limits? All of this is going to be aggregated right into Director to be able to give you that one pane of glass view for all of your infrastructure components. Another area where we're helping you being more efficient is some of the major updates we're making to the Web Studio homepage. So right now we're going to be surfacing real-time metrics like session load, usage, alerts, and resources, all from this one view from the Web Studio homepage. We're looking to help you, monitor whether it's site performance, spot trends within your environment faster, prioritize various actions, and we're trying to do this in a more intuitive way without having you dig through multiple menus or multiple different types of applications. Again, creating that one pane of glass for you to be able to get all of your insights from the Web Studio homepage and all of your infrastructure side from Director. And then finally, one of the last highlights I want to talk about is our VDA upgrade service, right? And this service is going to help you automate and deliver the VDA upgrades across your entire deployment. This is going to allow you to schedule upgrades, set concurrency limits. Do I want to do 5 upgrades, 50, 2 at a time? And really is going to track the progress. You'll have a single dashboard to where you can see the upgrade progress across your environment. And what this means is it's going to be much less manual work for your IT teams to get on the latest versions and be able to take advantage of all our great innovations. It's just going to mean fewer disruptions and really more time for your team to be able to spend on a lot of these strategic initiatives. So overall, we're looking to make things easier for you as an IT organization to be able to deliver the applications that drive your business. And one of the other areas we're really looking at is how do you help you automate your environment? And we're integrating very intimately with tools like Terraform and Ansible. And it's not only just automation, but really like how can we help you streamline any repetitive tasks? But more importantly, standardize your deployment. So things that you deploy with these automation tools, are accurate and consistent over time, devoid of any manual issues or errors that can cause delays in application deployment or cause user issues. On another note, operational efficiency is about saving IT time, but we're also looking at you as how do we're helping you save, potential costs within your data center, right? And using our industry standard tests and comparing from LTSR to LTSR, this release, we are seeing a reduction of up to 7% in CPU and 7% in memory without requiring any change to you. Just have the latest VDA on the system. And really what this is going to help do is translate, into the ability to support, more users per server, more desktops, more applications, right? And when you be able to get more users, desktops, and applications on your existing hardware, we're allowing you to help extend those hardware refresh cycles, potentially lower data center power and cooling costs. It all kind of compounds together. So I think these are some great improvements that we're making in this LTSR to help you have a more scalable environment. And really, other important things that we're looking at doing is like we're enabling your teams now with all of this operational efficiency to move beyond, that simple firefighting and focus on strategic initiatives. We got automation, dashboards, which give you real-time data, ability to troubleshoot, better scalability. So yeah, so this release is very impactful because we have over 90 improvements specifically targeting operational efficiency, and more than 25 of them that are in there that are going to be essential for reducing a lot of the effort that you guys are doing today and help improving a lot of your outcomes. So while your teams are under pressure to do more with less, overall IT is under pressure to do more with less budget, right? And here is a few of the ways that moving to LTSR 2507 is going to help you save money, right? One is we have some great tools that are going to be built into Director that are going to be able to use real-time data to be able to help you make important decisions about where your workloads are going to go and what is the most cost efficient way. And the first one is our cost optimization section in Director. It's really going to help you save IT dollars by showing you where your resources are unused. So you're deploying desktops, you're deploying applications, and we're going to make sure that those resources you have out there are used to the right capacity. You don't have any underused machines or potentially overused machines that are providing a poor user experience. And with these new tools, you'll be able to instantly spot any of the VMs out there that are running. Um, You'll be able to track the sessions, whether across delivery groups or sites or application or desktop specific. And these are going to help you identify ways where you can potentially scale back on resources, lower the VM size potentially, or be able to, as capacity demand increases, you know that you have the capacity across your site and you don't need to go procure additional hardware. Our goal right here is to give you those clear insights to be able to actually make clear actions within the parameters that you set. I need more users, I have the capacity, or I'm over provisioned. Let me reduce that and save money in my data center. Also, other great areas is our infrastructure right sizing. And these two are really directly related to the cost optimization piece. Really, but what we're looking for is, again, unused, underused, or overused VMs. And we could like help you and automatically shut down idle machines, aggregate the right workloads based on real usage, and then optimize your environments for potential power users that are resource hungry, being able to put them in the right spots so they don't distract or damage other users that are on the system. And then finally, another areas are cost modeling for Azure workloads. For these, for those of you using Azure, I think this is a really great feature because it's going to analyze all of your usage across your environment and recommend whether, hey, using Azure reservations, savings plans, or pay as you go is the right method for you to be able to save as much money as possible. And it's going to provide like really tailored and specific insights on the VM series that you're using, the various delivery groups and regions that you're utilizing, and show those potential savings, across different types of commitment strategies. So this is going to help you make smarter resource allocation decisions and help really truly help reduce your infrastructure spend. So whether you're on premise or in the cloud or a mix of both and hybrid, we're building you tools to be able to maximize the usage of your current hardware investment. Also, one of our key strengths is about supporting, diversity of environments that exist out there. And just from a compatibility perspective, this release is going to offer expanded support where we are Windows Server 2025. We're really pushing for the latest and great, be able to give you options to use the latest operating systems out there today, which includes Windows 11, Mac OS, iOS versions, and a wide range of Linux distributions like Red Hat, Rocky, Debian, Ubuntu, all of those latest versions to be able to take advantage for that VDA compatibility. Also, all the major cloud providers are being supported, and we're enhancing our provisioning and image management technologies across both AWS, Azure, GCP, even Nutanix and Zen Server for your on-prem and VMware. So really what our goal here is to give you the freedom to support every user, every device across every environment without trade-offs, right? So your business decisions will be driving, which platforms you're going to be using, and Citrix is your partner here to be able to support all of those various combinations. So just want to kind of wrap this up. CVAD, it's just not your normal simple upgrade. It is packed with value with over 400 features spread across security, user experience, operational efficiency, cost savings. There are many enhancements across the board. And really, this is the opportunity for you to modernize your environment, take advantage of these latest features, the integrations with Uber Agent and device trusts, and you take advantage of all these operational efficiencies to help simplify your environment and you be able to enhance the management, take advantage of the automation tools that will ultimately improve the performance and reduce costs with your environment. So really, our goal, secure your environment and be able to take advantage of this latest annual cadence that we have, right? We want to put you on a path to where every year you can take advantage of all these great features and capabilities that we have, but also for you to be confident in the stability of these LTSR releases that we have to make sure everything is tested and compatible together, right? So if you guys have been waiting, now is the right time to upgrade, take advantage of the licensing, the telemetry, security, performance, operational efficiency, and cost saving features that we have in this latest 2507 LTSR. And with that, I'd like to thank you. Now I'm going to pass it off to Brian, who's going to talk about some of our NetScaler updates.
Hi, I'm Brian Hune, and I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager for NetScaler. In this session, I'm going to cover the risks quantum computing introduces for your business, and why waiting could leave your data exposed. We'll also look at why stronger protection comes with real trade-offs in performance, and why NetScaler is uniquely positioned to solve that problem. So before we go deeper into quantum computing and what it means for security, let's quickly look at how we got here. Seeing the progression makes it clear why this conversation is happening now. So quantum computing started as a long horizon research back in the 1990s, mostly in government and academic labs. It was fascinating science, but well outside normal IT planning cycles. In August 2024, the US standards body, NIST, approved key post-quantum cryptographic ciphers as the path forward for future encryption. This was an industry inflection point. It told vendors, governments, and enterprises, start preparing. The next generation of cryptography is coming. Just a few months later, between December 2024 and February 2025, the major cloud vendors all announced progress on their quantum hardware programs with major milestones in processor development. Google with Willow, AWS with Ocelot, and Microsoft with Majorano. Different designs, but the same message. Serious and sustained progress in building usable quantum systems. On the software side, the ecosystem started adapting in the same window of a few months. New versions of Chrome, Firefox, and Edge introduced support for quantum-resistant cryptography, allowing today's encryption to protect against tomorrow's compute power. And for a very good reason, but we'll talk a bit more on that later. Overall, this means that PQC isn't stuck in labs, it's already showing up in everyday client software. Now, in the 2030s, experts expect fault-tolerant quantum computers to become viable, systems capable of breaking the encryption algorithms we rely on today. Organizations that haven't prepared won't just be playing catch-up, they'll be dealing with the fallout of not preparing in advance. So now that we've seen where quantum compute came from and is headed, let's talk about what's at risk and why it matters. Now, there are two major threats that come with the rise of quantum computing. The first is digital certificate forgery. Once quantum computers are powerful enough, they'll be able to break the cryptographic algorithms used to verify digital signatures. This will allow attackers to forge certificates, impersonate websites or services, and overall undermine the trust in secure communications. It is a serious concern, but it depends on the availability of fault-tolerant quantum hardware, and we are not there yet. However, the second threat is much more immediate, and that's what's known as the Harvest Now, Decrypt Later attack, or HNDL. HNDL doesn't require a quantum computer today. Instead, it's about bad actors capturing encrypted traffic now, storing it, and waiting. Then, once quantum computers mature, all that stored data will be forced open and become readable. That means any sensitive data in transit today, like medical records, financial data, proprietary IP, could already be at risk, even if it's encrypted using today's best traditional algorithms. This is why preparing for post-quantum cryptography isn't about reacting to future breakthroughs. It's about protecting the information that matters right now. So, post-quantum cryptography, or PQC, refers to a new class of encryption algorithms that are designed to be secure even against quantum computers. The goal isn't to replace all cryptography, but to replace the specific parts that quantum computers could break. That means public key algorithms like RSA, ECDSA, or ECDHE, the ones used for key exchanges, and these are all the asymmetric algorithms you see on the left side of the visual. And all internet traffic relies on these algorithms today, which means all internet traffic that relies on them is viable to be broken into without PQC protection. What makes PQC different is that it's based on new mathematical foundations, ones that quantum computers can't solve efficiently even at scale. So, to put this in perspective, cracking an RSA 2048 with a classical supercomputer would take longer than the lifespan of the universe, around 300 trillion years. But with a powerful enough quantum computer, it could take just 10 seconds. That's why we need post-quantum cryptography. And importantly, PQC doesn't require quantum hardware to use. These algorithms run on the infrastructure that we have today, and they're already being implemented in modern software, like we saw earlier with the major browsers. So right now, most organizations are starting with hybrid deployments, combining traditional key exchange algorithms with PQC ones in the same TLS handshake. That way, even if one method is broken in the future, the other still protects the session. This hybrid approach is already supported in Chrome, Firefox, and Edge, and it's what NetScaler supports today with MLChem-based encryption. PQC isn't something you prepare for someday, it's something you can and should deploy now. So, NetScaler has always been different. Built from the start with a one-pass architecture that inspects, encrypts, and routes traffic in one streamlined flow, that design has delivered performance and efficiency advantages for years. And now, in the era of post-quantum encryption, it matters more than ever. In real-world testing of hybrid TLS handshakes, which means the old cryptography and the new PQC, NetScaler sustained high transactions per second with no impact latency. The CPU impact was only about 25% with the post-quantum load. The non-PQC portion of the handshake continues to be offloaded to hardware, reducing the software overhead. So these results reflect a platform that's already ready for the quantum future. But now let's talk about what this means in a broader context. So this third-party comparison tested NetScaler VPX versus F5 Big IP Virtual Edition across increasing levels of application complexity, from load balancing to full app security with policy. So the results speak for themselves. NetScaler used significantly less CPU across all test scenarios. And in the most demanding test, which was load balancing, policy, and application security, which is like WAF and stuff like that, F5 maxed out its CPU before reaching the 2.3 gigabits per second test that we were doing, as you can see in the blue box there, which forced the test to be throttled down to 1.2 gigabits per second. And even then, NetScaler used 64% less CPU. That means that a full load F5 CPU usage was nearly 3 times higher than NetScaler. So what's the real problem for other vendors? It's not whether they can scale, it's going to be the cost of having to scale. Because no enterprise is going to tolerate performance degradation. They'll fix it, and they'll do that by throwing more infrastructure, more licenses, or more cloud compute with the problem. And that adds up fast. NetScaler helps you avoid that trap, not just because it performs better, but because our licensing amplifies those performance gains into real cost savings. You start with a platform that uses fewer CPU resources for the same workloads. And then, with the Citrix platform license or Universal Hybrid Multi-Cloud license, you can scale up with unlimited additional instances without incurring any additional costs. With NetScaler, there's going to be no need to choose between performance and savings. Now, it's not just theory. Real customers are already preparing and taking steps to prepare for the post-quantum threats with NetScaler. These quotes are from two customers, a cybersecurity provider and a financial services company. They highlight that PQC is a real and current priority and that they're genuinely pleased to see NetScaler supporting it as early as we are. And we've rolled out hybrid PQC support to a range of other organizations already. Industries that take encryption seriously, like airlines, banks, healthcare providers, and government institutions, to name a few. They recognize that the PQC transition is coming, and they want to start now while they still control the timeline. NetScaler gives them the flexibility to test, deploy, and scale PQC on their own terms, with full support across both hardware and virtual appliances, not just select platforms. Other vendors are still limiting PQC to their legacy products, with no support for their newer architectures. That's not why I say it's a future rate path. NetScaler is already delivering quantum-safe capabilities where customers need them most, giving them a trusted partner to start the journey today and scale confidently into tomorrow. So, I want to thank you all for listening to this presentation. For more details on PQC and NetScaler's support for hybrid PQC, check out our recent blog post on citrix.com or our 3-part deep dive blog series on our community site. And then to take the next step, talk to one of our sales representatives and start planning your PQC journey today. Thank you. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Michael.
Those were some pretty cool updates and really shows how Citrix is innovating and is at the forefront of end-user computing, meeting pressing business requirements and supporting modern standards and innovation. This webinar will be available on demand, so be sure to share the highlights with everyone in your network and connect with your account team to learn more. Watch the Citrix blog for more information and take a moment to look at the Tech Zone blog on Citrix Community for more details. Thanks for your support. Till next time, have a great day.